Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Clickbait Coffee, another fun and exciting Friday. I can't believe this week has freaking flown by. And we got Ground Fog was the first one in here at almost 9 o'clock last night. Hey, Ground Fog. 60 Old Man Growing. Good morning from Stamping Ground. Went from 55 degrees to 22 with a wind chill of 19. I don't even know what today's weather is going to be. I hadn't even looked. I know yesterday we had we had some pretty good storms roll through last night, and it rained most of the day in Bowling Green. Rained most of the day, and then like at 7 o'clock, some severe storms came through and stuff like that. Nothing got torn up that I know of. But right now it's 31. We're going to be 45 today, so it's going to be a little chilly today. But then, heck, let me see. Shoot, Christmas Eve and Christmas Day is going to be like 66 and 63. The weather doesn't know what it's going to do. So it's going to be one of those Christmases. Everybody wants a white Christmas and kind of stuff, but I'm just like, heck, if it's 60 degrees, I'm good with it. You never know. Heck, it might be 60 degrees or it might be 20 degrees on Christmas here. It's just a toss-up. So, guys, it's almost Christmas. Wednesday is Christmas Eve, and then Thursday is Christmas Day. Friday, I will probably do a live. I'm taking off. I'm going to take off Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday from both businesses and hang out with the family and do all that kind of fun stuff. Lynn, good morning. How are you? Did you get any weather last night? I know we got a few severe things and stuff like that. It wasn't nothing crazy and all. Greg New, good morning. All right, guys. Bleeding control kits. We've still got those jokers 15% off. There's one of them sitting right there. Got those bleeding control kits. Use the code BLEED15 to get you 15% off of those. And then we got free shipping over $75. Don't forget, let me pull this up. VacMaster sale goes on till the 20th. So tomorrow is the last day for their sale. It's their fresh holiday sale. If you spend $600 or more, you get 15% off, and you get a walnut knife block. If you spend $800, you get 20% off, and then you get one of their knife rolls. Those are nice knife rolls. I've got a couple of them, and we use them for processing and all that. If you spend $1,000 or more, you get 25% off, and you get a free table, one of their stainless steel mobile tables that has got casters on it. They've got some nice stainless steel tables. I've got one of theirs, and we use it for processing. I think it's a 30 inch by 48 inch. And, man, it's super nice. I've got it set up down there in the shop, and we will process stuff on it. But it's VacMasterFresh.com. And if you use the code HOMESTEAD, you'll get another 15% off your order. So right now is the smoking time to buy VacMaster if you're thinking about it. Because you can save some amazing money on that. So we got that, and then the free shipping and the bleeding control kits right in time for Christmas. And I hope everybody's got their Christmas shopping done. I've got to go get one other thing tomorrow for my youngest son. I've got to pick him up the dad present. So I'm going to run grab it, and then I'm pretty well done for Christmas shopping. Dana Russell, good morning. How are you? Lynn says wind and rain vehicles all froze up this morning. Yeah, I'm going to have to go thaw mine out. Hopefully it's not too awful bad. I wish I don't have a remote start on this truck. My last truck had a remote start, and it was just so nice. I mean, you can just go hit the button, it'd start up and thaw everything out for you, but don't have it on this truck, and I probably won't put it on. It's nice to have, but I'm not going to spend the money on it to do it. L2 Survive, good morning. How are you? How's the weather up your way? All right, that's all the sales pitches and all that fun stuff. If you need VacMaster, go to VacMaster, get that stuff. That's probably going to be their best deals of the year. Windy, L2 Survive. I know, like up in the Pacific Northwest and stuff, we got like tremendous flooding and stuff like that. I saw some guys were talking about going up there and helping and doing some stuff. And I'm like, man, that's a long way. I would go, but I just can't get up that far. Dan Glover, good morning from Tennessee. All right, guys, I came up with this. Everybody talks about, who you're going to help in a SHTF situation. I'm going to help everybody, or I'm not going to help a soul, anything like that. So it's, who deserves help when everything falls apart. I mean, you're going to have to make moral decisions under pressure. And I mean, this covers Bobby Spags. What's going on, man? This kind of covers a lot of different stuff. This covers ethics, preparedness, community, and hard realities. I mean, and you're going to be making moral decisions under pressure. Who does this? Who deserves this? Who deserves that? Greg Skeens, good morning. Most people are all, gear, food, skills, that kind of stuff. But you're going to be making all these decisions too. And nobody really talks about some of the decisions that you're going to have to make. And you look at it when desperation hits, when people are desperate for food, shelter, anything like that, you're going to see your friends asking for help. You're going to see family showing up. It's like, hey, your cousin Bobby's here. And it's like, man, we didn't know he was coming. We hadn't seen cousin Bobby, but at Thanksgiving 4 or 5 years ago, you're going to have neighbors knocking on your door, coming up to your place. You're going to have strangers begging, strangers just walking up to your house. People are going to be lying to you. I mean, everybody's going to turn in, or a lot of people's going to turn into a politician. If their mouth is moving, they're lying, and people are going to be panicking. I mean, no matter what, even the most prepared people are probably going to have a little bit of panic in them. It's like, holy cow, the balloon actually went up. We're in serious trouble. Even though we've been preparing, you're going to be like, hey, can we do this? Part of it, the dangers of helping everyone. If you just put it out, I'm going to help everybody. You're not going to be able to. I mean, your supplies, it's going to get you killed is essentially what it's going to do if you're going to try to help everybody. Because helping everybody, you're going to drain all your supplies faster. You're going to advertise what you've got. I mean, if you've planned for you and your family, say you've got a family and you've got 2 other people coming, so you're going to have 6 people. If you plan for your 6 people and you've got 2-year food supply, if you start helping other people, that's taking food out of your family's mouth, and it's just going to drain those supplies. And then you're going to advertise what you've got. If you help your neighbor, he's going to be like, oh man, he's going to tell the next neighbor, and then that neighbor's showing up. So then pretty soon the whole stinking road knows that you've got food. You've got food, and then it's like, boom, hey, they're going to come up and do this. Utah Mike says, I plan to help as many as possible. Just like in every natural disaster, help rolls, no lone wolves. And Mike said, no one died helping in Helene. Yes, you're correct on that. I don't think anybody died helping in Helene, but Helene was a localized natural disaster. I was over there helping. Nobody with us died. But that is a localized disaster. That is different than a whole grid down situation. In a natural disaster, yes, I will help people. I have no problem doing that. I went out with grindstones several times and helped people. I have done, when we've had natural disasters here, I went out and helped and done stuff like that, provided whatever I could. But if you're talking about a total grid collapse, that's what I'm talking about. You can help as many people as you can, but first you've got to look out for your family first. Pilgrim, good morning. some of the other dangers on stuff is you're going to lose your OPSEC. Everybody's going to know what you got. And it's just like you're throwing it all out in the wind. It's like, I've got supplies, I've got ammo, I've got pew-pews, all that stuff. Your OPSEC is blown. That means you're going to start attracting more people. More people are going to be coming up. And it's just like, Jason's got stuff. He's got, and it's going to turn in. It's like that telephone game. You're going to help one person and it's just going to keep on going. And by the time it gets to the 30th person, you've got a bunker and, 1,000 guns and 1,000,000 rounds of ammo and 30-year food supply. And people are just going to be like, oh my gosh, boom, there it goes. You're going to be a target. In a grid down situation, people are going to be desperate. And they always say the most dangerous person is a dad that's trying to feed his kids. So then you're going to be a target. That dad that comes up and his kids are starving and everything, he's going to do whatever he can to feed his kids. So then you're risking your family's survival and safety. So, the whole thing, it's like math can't override good intentions. It's all about calories, water, and security on that. And L2 Survive, our plan includes everything for 50 people plus breakfast every morning for the neighborhood. It will be easier to organize the neighborhood if they know their kids eat every day. That is an amazing plan. If you can plan for that and do it more. I mean, that's a lot of planning right there. And that's a whole lot of food. So I would love to do that. I would love to have everybody on the street, be able to feed them breakfast every morning. Right now, it's not in the cards for me. Hopefully some of my neighbors are prepared. I know a few of them are, but a few of them are just like, we're eating pizza every night and drinking beer every night and buying new cars every other week and that kind of stuff. And Utah Mike, my family's moved across the country. I will help as many as possible and rely on karma to help my family that is not with me. Yeah. I mean, I'm not saying that I'm not going to help people. I will plan for certain people that I'm going to help, but every Tom, Dick, and Harry that shows up or wants something, you just cannot do that. And as far as the karma thing, yes, you're called biblically to help the widow and the orphan. And you can do that up to a certain point. Sounds like the UPS guy came. So, part of it, the math, math on survival stuff. You're looking, each person you add into there, each person you add, and each person you help, it means more food per day, more water per day, more sanitation needs, more medical risk, more noise, and more exposure. So if you look at it, we've always said sanitation is going to be one of the biggest things that kills people. You got to have a place to pee and poop, and then you've got to have enough water to take care of that. If you've only planned for so many people at your place and you've planned the water situation out, you've cut your water down. I mean, if you're planning on having 6 people at your place and then you're helping another 6 people, your water has got cut in half. Your food has got cut in half. So you got to look at that. Also, medical stuff. I mean, unless you've got horrible stockpiles of medical gear, which I assume most people don't, it's like, who are we going to treat? That kind of stuff. You kind of get into a triage situation with that. And then, then also you're looking about more noise and more exposure. The more people you've got at your place, the louder it's going to be, more people running around making noise, and then your exposure level is going to be way bigger, the more people you've got on there. But the other side aspect of that is also, if you've got more people there, you've got more people to help. So it kind of depends. It's a double-edged sword. Yeah, I've got more people, we're louder and everything, and our supplies are cut down, but then I've got more people to help with security and help with the gardens, the animals, and all that kind of stuff. L2 Survive says, garden, chickens, pancakes, and coffee. It's actually pretty easy and inexpensive. Yeah, you could do a pretty good job if you've got a nice garden and got a bunch of chickens ready to go. And you could do a pretty good breakfast with that. And yeah, Utah Mike, each person adds more helping hands. I agree with that. But then the thing is, too, it's like you've got helping hands, but then you've also got to feed these helping hands. So you got to look at that. And Greg, one of the best ways to help folks is to convince them to prepare and learn skills before they need it. That is 100%. You should teach these people, hey, you need to start getting ready. You need to do this. Even if you stock away a little bit of food, do that and then learn some of these skills. Learn how to forage, learn how to do herbal stuff, learn how to do medical skills, learn how to do communication skills, learn how to grow some food. You know, even in small subdivisions and stuff like that, if a family starts stocking away some food and gets half a dozen chickens, they're well ahead of the vast majority of people in the United States. So if the people are helping themselves, I don't have a problem helping them. But it's the people that are just like, oh, you know, whatever, this thing's never going to happen. And instead of taking care of their kids and their family, they're going to go buy a new, you know, King Ranch Super Duty truck. And then it's like, oh my gosh, I don't have any food. And you're like, dude, you can't eat your Super Duty. So you should have not bought a brand new Super Duty, bought a used one, and then taken that money and gotten your family prepared. So, and as far as me, and I've told people before, it's like I will help people that are wanting to learn to be more prepared, learn how to do homesteading stuff. I will help anybody and talk to them about getting started on it, as long as they're going to follow through. If I talk to a person and they're like, yes, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that, and they don't do it in a certain amount of time, there's like, oh, I've been meaning and this and that. I will give them 2 chances. And then after the second chance, they hadn't made any forward steps, period. I'm like, I'm done. We're not talking about this anymore because you're wasting my time doing this when I could be helping somebody else. Carter Lee, good morning. So get them on it. And as long as they're moving forward, I don't mind helping a person. And Greg hit it spot on, is, you know, get the people doing it for themselves. And Utah Mike says, I have nurses, doctors, mechanics, construction operators, carpenters, engineers. What should I exclude? Hey, it depends. I mean, are you prepping? Are you prepping all the stuff for them, or are they prepping along with you? That's one of the big things is, you know, are you prepping for these guys and they're just going to show up, or are they prepping along with you? If they're prepping along with you, man, you don't exclude anybody. No matter if the person's prepping along with you, it doesn't matter if they're the best trauma surgeon in the world and they've got all the gear, or if they're grandma that's 80 years old. I wouldn't exclude either one of those people, as long as they're prepping along with you and not just like, hey, you take care of everything, I'm going to show up. So that's my answer to that. And it depends on what they're doing. Greg says he loves his Super Duty. Yes, Greg, you love your Super Duty, but you've also prepared for your family. You've not spent every single dollar that you've got on a brand new truck. You've got your family taken care of and prepared for those people. It's like, it's a whole financial thing. If you've got, you know, if your house is paid off and all that kind of stuff, all the bills are paid, and you want to go buy a new gun or want to go buy your wife a new necklace or something, and everything's paid, it's like, go buy your wife a new necklace, go buy you a new gun. But if you're just like, man, I want to go buy me a new gun, but I ain't going to be able to make rent this month on the apartment, it's like, that's a bad financial decision. Greg also said, get them addicted to chickens. Yeah, get them addicted to chickens. The chickens are the gateway drug to animals. Once you get chickens, 2 or 3 months later, you're going to be like, I need some sheep. And then a couple months later, you're going to be like, I need a couple pigs. And then later on, you're going to be like, I need some cows. And then it just snowballs into, you got a whole ecosystem menagerie out in your back pasture. And you're like, where did we go from here? Some of the stuff, since Utah Mike was saying, who do I exclude? You need tiers on stuff. And part of it, you know, tiers is your immediate household, your wife, your kids, any dependents, your pets, you know, your parents. stuff like that. If you can't protect those people, everything else is kind of irrelevant on everything. So it's like your wife, your kids, your parents, and any other dependents, grandparents, anything like that. Those are your immediate family. Anybody that stays in your household or is like, super related to you, parents, stuff like that. Those are your immediate concerns, in my opinion. And then tier number 2 is predetermined family that's going to come over. This is your cousin Bob that y'all, hang out all the time, or your uncle Steve, people that are in your life that are always doing stuff, and that they think alike with you. We're not talking about prearranged family, your cousin Bob that you hadn't seen in 10 years at Thanksgiving, something like that, that's just going to show up. He's not an immediate concern. So look at that, prearranged. Have conversations with people. Like I've had conversations with my brother about stuff. I've had conversations with my mom about stuff. Have conversations with my mother-in-law about stuff. One of the things is like she's got 7 cats. We're not going to have 7 cats here unless they turn into barn cats and kill mice. That's the only way we're going to have 7 cats. And they're not going to be in the house. They're going to be out at the barn killing mice for us. Tier number 3, you're looking trusted neighbors and your mutual aid people, which then you're talking about neighbors you already know. And this gets back to building the community and your mutual aid groups. If you don't know the people in your general area and you hadn't talked to these people, you're behind the ball. You need to get out and start meeting these people today. I mean, it'd be a great thing. Have your wife make some cookies and take cookies down to the neighbors and be like, hey, Merry Christmas. I thought we'd bring you some cookies. That's going to strike up the conversation. Then you can talk about some stuff. But this is, tier 3 is your trusted neighbors and mutual aid. Neighbors that you already know and that you can trust. Those neighbors can help pull security for you. They can help grow food. They can help you fix things. And then you can share resources. We're not talking about communism or anything or socialism. We're talking about mutual aid. We're both getting something out of this. Then also, once you get in and you get your neighbors on board, then you've doubled, you start adding more land to your place, more places to grow stuff. If you're in a suburban area, and say you're on a half-acre lot, you've only got a half acre that you can play with. But once you start getting your neighbors involved, then your acreage just starts growing. Or if you're on a small homestead and, they're splitting places up into like 5-acre tracts and building like little mini farms around here. So if you do that, if you've got 5 acres and you can only run a few sheep, but then you get your neighbors on board, it's like, hey, I'm not doing anything with my back 3 acres. Why don't I let you run a few sheep on this? And you can get a few more sheep. And in exchange for that, it's like, hey, we'll, when it's time to butcher sheep, you'll get a lamb out of it. There's always trades. There's always trades that you can work out. And your community really needs to be pre-built, before the disaster, and not just something hastily strewn together and spontaneous. It's like, oh, Bob seems like a nice guy. I've talked to Bob for like 15 minutes. We're in a grid down situation. Bob seems pretty cool. It's like Bob is probably just lying to you so he can get in, and, he knows that you've got stuff. So everything needs to be pre-built, not spontaneous stuff. Tier number 4 is kind of like limited aid to others. This is talking about, this is the charity thing. And you got to control how much charity you're going to give out. This is, like the one-time help. We're going to help one time and do this, and this is it. Do that. Anonymous stuff. Something just shows up at somebody's house. They don't know who it came from. That's going to be one of the best ways, because nobody knows where it came from. You're not outing yourself as you're the supplier, you're Santa Claus bringing food and stuff like that. Then that way, if you do it that way, you're not revealing who you are, you're not revealing your supplies and your location. And then the good thing is you don't get repeat customers on it, unless you want the repeat customers where you could help them again. So, and it's, you kind of look at it. You're not the relief organization for everybody. You just can't be physically or financially unless you're uber rich. You can't feed everybody. Just period on that. And L2 Survive. Do an area study. Create a map of your neighborhood. Write down names, professions, known skills, visible preps, and personality. Neighbors are part of my plan, and they don't know it. Yeah, and I've done. Mike Shelby with Forward Observer talks about area studies all the time. That's like his main sales thing is area studies. And it is. I've got a map, of my local area. It's a satellite rendering that's got the houses and all that stuff. And, you can look at it. You can look at where there's supplies and the people and do that. I know pretty much everybody on the street, know what they do for a living. And I've met and talked to all of them. Yeah, I've met and talked to everybody on the street. There's one people that I thought I hadn't talked to, but I've talked to them just real quick, briefly. They rent a house like almost at the end of the street. But I know everybody on the street, pretty much know what they do, know their professions and all that stuff, how many kids they have and all that. And yes, like L2 Survive, they're part of the plan. They just don't know it 100% yet. And you told Mike, I've already had a dozen neighbors drop off Christmas gifts to me this year. See, that's awesome. That's what you're talking about, is getting these people that, they're like, hey, we're going to give you a Christmas present. They actually think of you and you're not an afterthought of stuff. That's where you get in there. I've had people give me Christmas gifts and stuff like that. We always get, a lot of times I wind up getting gift cards. People will mail me gift cards a lot or drop some stuff off. We've got a ton of stuff. The other night when we went to church, Christmas gifts, it's like we had to haul all kinds of stuff out to the vehicle. All right. You've got to balance your OPSEC with humanity. So you've got to look at that. Helping others. One of the big problems is helping others is going to expose your location. It's going to spread information. People are going to know, where you're at, stuff like that. And part of it is going to create dependency. Look at what we've got right now with the SNAP system. People have been bred in to just, hey, we'll live off the government. We're not going to do anything all day long, but we're going to get a check every day. If you keep feeding these people and they don't have to do anything, you're just creating your own personal SNAP benefit system in a grid down deal. It's like, hey, you turned into the government and you're feeding people and you're not getting anything back. And then they're going to get into where they deserve this. It's like, I deserve for you to come feed me. So you're creating dependence on that. And then when you say no, look at it. Look at what happened with the SNAP. People thought all their SNAP were going to get cut off, and they're all over social media saying, oh, well, we deserve this. And if the government's not going to give us our money, we're going to go in and just take what we're owed. That's going to be the same thing. The people are going to be like, hey, we're going to take what is owed to us, and they think that you owe them something. And then in a grid down situation, you're not going to have the police or anything like that. So the people are like, hey, we're just going to get our guns and we're just going to go shoot the house up and take what we want. So think about that is, you don't want to make your own little SNAP program in your neighborhood. All right, people, let me see. Greg says, like feeding bears, you will get bit. Yeah, 100% you'll get bit if you keep feeding those jokers. I made a list of people you shouldn't help. And this is, kind of a broad list. People might not agree with it, but this is my list of people you really shouldn't help. It's kind of blunt, but it's kind of necessary. You've got to draw those hard lines of, who I'm going to help and who I'm not going to help. Avoid and help people that are aggressive. If somebody is just like, oh, we deserve this, you need to help, a super aggressive person, we're not going to help those people. And one of the big ones to me is entitled people. People that are entitled to think they deserve what you worked and what you've stored up and what you've bought. It's the same thing with the SNAP people. We're entitled to this, so we should get it. I'm not going to be helping entitled people. If you come up, it's like, you owe me this. It's like, honey, I don't owe you nothing. addicted people. And then people are going to get all over it. So, well, you got to help them. They're addicts and this and that. Yes, they're addicts. That was their life choices. In a grid down situation, I'm not going to put resources in to a drug addict or an alcoholic. It's just, I'm not going to. It's a hard deal. People will get pissed off about it and say you're inhumane, but it's like, we're not going to do that. Part of it, groups without really a good plan. But what you could do with those is not necessarily give them supplies. You could probably help them come up with a plan and build some skills. And it's like, hey, we can help you develop a plan. We're not going to give you food, water, and supplies, but we can sit down with your leaders and come up with a plan and help y'all have some kind of plan to go with. Anybody that's asking, anyone that's not asking and demanding stuff, it's like, I demand that I have some food for my kids. It's like, you're probably not going to end up very well. And then also people that are threatening you and pressuring you, that kind of stuff is not going to fly well. So you've really got to look at that. And it's almost on a case-by-case basis kind of thing. Let me see. You told Mike, my area will come together very fast. Local church that's 70% attended has organized plan. They send help to every natural disaster already. Many first on the scene, all volunteers. That's great that you've got a church like that. I mean, it's cool. I wish my church did a little bit more on some natural disaster stuff. I've thought about talking to them about some natural disaster stuff, but it's kind of like, where do you put all your time and stuff like that? Because time is the resource that we can never get back. So you kind of got to look at that. I would love for our church to do more stuff like that. And you got to look at part of it, when help becomes a liability. You got to look at this. So you got who you're helping and stuff like that. And when it becomes a liability, people are going to start getting angry if you're not going to help them. People are going to start turning hostile. They're going to start spreading rumors on you. They're going to retaliate. So then you've got to look at it. If you say no to people, you've got to be ready for the repercussions. So that's being well armed, having security at your place, having a plan to deal with that. The best thing, in my opinion, is to just help a few certain people, and then rumors not going to get out that you've got all kinds of stuff. Part of it, ask yourself some of these questions right now is, who's allowed to show up? How many people can you realistically support on your property? If you're raising gardens and raised beds, you've got animals, you've got your food supply, you've got your water systems down. How many people can you actually support? And for how long can you support these people? You've got to look at that. What behaviors are kind of deal breakers on that? Are you going to put up with, what are you going to put up with? Where's your stopping point and your hard no? What are you going to deal with? And then you've got to look at it too. When are you going to stop help on people? When is it like, hey, I've given everything I can for you? When are you going to stop that? I mean, what does everybody think? Put some comments in here, because I've kind of went through my list of stuff that I look for, and in the way that I'm going to go, on helping people. It's a huge moral dilemma. You're called to help as many people as you can. I mean, it says, we're supposed to do that. We're supposed to help people, but you've got to look at it as, hey, when is enough enough? You can only do so much. You can't help everybody. Even right now in great times, you look at it like an angel tree, buying kids stuff for Christmas. Yes, we did the angel tree. We bought stuff for people. We've donated and done all this stuff, but it's like, when is enough enough? You have to start. And it's like, I can't spend every single dollar that I've got buying, other people's stuff for Christmas, or buying food for people for Christmas. It's like, you've eventually got to take care of yourself. And then once you're taken care of, then you can go out and help other people. It's like the whole oxygen mask thing on a plane. It's like you have to put your oxygen mask on first before you start helping other people, because if you pass out from no oxygen, you're of no use, and then you're a liability that somebody else is going to have to help. So, guys, that's about all I've got. I went through my list, went through it kind of fast. If anybody else has got any comments, let me know. If not, I've got to pack some orders up and get some stuff going. And then I've got to pack some orders, and I've got to run down to my brother's house and work on his house a little bit more. Today is moving day. My brother's girlfriend is moving in to his house, and I've been doing some remodeling work on it. So they're moving furniture in today and all her stuff. And I think I've got one room to paint today, and then clean up a bunch of my tools and get all my tools out of the actual house and put them in the garage where they can move all their crap in, and do that. So it's not going to be a super, super hard day for me, which is nice on a Friday. So, and Utah Mike says, no lone wolf for me. Yeah, the lone wolf guy is going to be one of the first dudes that gets killed. The lone wolf strategy is not a good option, in my opinion. So, and Greg, enjoy your day. I'm planning on it. All right, guys. Remember, bleeding control kits, 15% off with the code BLEED15, and then free shipping on orders over $75. Guys, I appreciate it. I'm going to pack some orders, run them to UPS, and then go down and paint for a little while. If y'all need anything, email me, give me a shout. And guys, I'll see y'all back here Tuesday morning. Y'all have a good weekend. And Tuesday morning will be like, I guess we can do it as our Christmas special. So, guys, enjoy your day, and I will see y'all soon. Thanks.